to Video Cavalcade. So, welcome to Video Cavalcade, and you're going to see a lot of videos, things that people are talking about, what's going on, what's in our feed. So, first and foremost, how satanic is Hollywood? So, since the Epstein list, everybody's wondering, well, who's eating what? It's it's just intense. It's intense, and people are scared because it's like the sense of trust that people have in place. There's people on various different fronts. People that have been like, "I told you so." People are like, "Oh, what? Huh? Huh?" And then all these other things are being revealed. And then there's people that are literally utilizing it in order to harm other people and utilizing as, oh, it's an overall blanket. Everyone involved in Hollywood, everyone involved everywhere. People just get "Ugh," because people feed on fear, on fear, on fear, on fear. So it's like, "Ugh, everybody's satanic. You're satanic. You read cards. You're satanic. You're satanic." And it's like I've been called satanic because dabble in tarot. I love tarot, but and I'm not. Oh, and I'm not on the Epstein list. I don't think I am. You go ahead and check for me. Anywho, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So what's first in the stress, and should you have stress? Now I want to let you know that one of the first most important sentences in the Bible is "Do not fear." And why is that? Why do not fear? Because when you have this complete alignment to the Lord, when you trust the Lord, when you have not hope, not faith, but you have certainty that there is a life and there's a light and there's a source and there's a being that governs all with a consciousness that is united with your own consciousness and that you're an infinite human being and depending on whatever you do in this earth and whatever thoughts and actions or whatever ripple throughout and how much darkness and how much light you will reap the reports because energy and whatnot. I personally would like to believe that. And even if you don't reap the rewards, like let's say, okay, you're a good person at the end of the day, it was like, "Meh, you're just a good person because you're a good person." At the end of the day, you're leaving that for the future generations. You're leaving that for the future energy. Let's say all of a sudden, which is proven by physics that energy doesn't disappear. It's a constant thing. Energy cannot be destroyed or I don't know, manifested. I don't know. Then that gets into the magic. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, please. But the point is that you're forever. You're an infinite human being, and there's examples of reincarnation and stuff like that. So why not just be good if you're coming back to the same energy? All those teachings that are out there teaching was like, be good. Why should you be good? For the selfish purpose that you're going to end up coming back, and for the selfless purpose that you're building a world for the future and whatnot. Or should you come and just like take whatever you want? And be like, and are there base impulses to every people? What's the toxification of power? How much power do you want? And there's some people, and I've heard it in high levels, and back to the whole like evil satanic kind of stuff. There are people that will do horrible things so that they can actually redeem them and get the power. And I think it's like the prodigal son kind of teachings. Now, my personal belief is you've already got stuff on your plate. You know what I mean? You got that one time when you yelled at somebody. I got that one time when I was a complete jerk. Like I said to somebody, "Who's gonna take you to prom?" And I was just a complete like mean girl. I've been a mean girl. I've been a I mean a mean boy. I've been a mean person. There's things in my personal, I mean, I haven't done the horrible things, but there's things in my past where I'm like, that wasn't a good choice. So I've got all of that stuff. So why would I want to add more for more power? And then more power means what? Then I'm gonna have to keep doing more things and in order to get more power to maintain that power. And then if people find out and if I want to get out of it, what happens? Are they gonna you know what I mean? So all those questions, I think, is just so much stress. I personally, I when I came to Los Angeles and I was around certain people, it is kind of exciting, the whole Hollywood, ooh, you want to play your cards right and stuff like that. But I never really knew why I didn't move forward. I had a good friend of mine that once told me about a popular show and that they were saying Hail Satan. And at the time, I wasn't sure what to make of it. I kind of believed it. You know what I mean? And then you start questioning, like, how far does it go? How deep does it go? And that's a really trippy, like, slippery, dangerous slope because the other day I'm watching on Instagram, right? And I'm like, oh, look at all these Satanists, all these people that eat, you know? And it's like that. No, no, not that person. I don't. That person's not on the list. And that person's like, where do they get their facts? and all this other stuff. And people are just blah, blah, blah. They want to hate. I hate you, so you're a Satanist. I don't like you, so you're a Satanist. And we're creating a really scary atmosphere because then it becomes that level of trust. Who do we trust? If we start, if someone called me a Satanist and I wasn't, I would be extremely offended because I try to live my life in alignment to the Lord. Yeah, maybe your belief system doesn't believe in tarot, but for me, Jesus says it's okay. You know what I mean? So, and then but if you want to vote, whatever. I'm not going to get into that argument. The point is that we're all one. So we need to really be careful, as to when we're pointing fingers and who we're pointing fingers to. And also with this whole AI situation, people can just, wow. The other day I wanted to make an April Fool's joke and I said that I had a child from way long ago and he resurfaced. And I took one of my children's picture, my when I was a child, and I put it out there, and I asked AI, "Hey, can you make me like a child version of me?" So it was like there, and I'm like, "Wow, like that's crazy. That's pretty." And the picture was pretty good, and it was pretty, and I fooled quite a few of my family members, so it was really weird, So that I adore April Fools. Halloween, April Fools, my birthday, in that order. Uh, Halloween, April Fools, and my birthday. So, yeah, well, no, actually, my birthday is number one. So, yeah, so I think we need to be careful. I need to be careful what we're saying, who we're saying it to, what we're going after. And at the end of the day, if you're scared, bust out a Bible. Don't judge people. Just worry about you. Looking in the mirror. Be ask the Lord, like, Lord, there's some really dark stuff out there, but how can I connect with more positive people around my area? Let's not worry about whatever's happening. The Lord's gonna take care of what the Lord needs to take care of, and you're good if you keep being good and you create that energy, and you know what I mean. Keep yourself away from because that energy is an energy. That darkness is an energy that feeds on itself till it just it's nothing. That's what it does. It's obsessed with power and it can't. It's on a lower frequency that it just keeps dragging and dragging and dragging. And yeah, there's an illusion of power, but that's on the 1%. There's an infinite reality of consciousness of realities that you can travel to. It's almost like, these people are still collecting sand and we're like on dollars. They're trading sand. They're like, we get X amount of sand. Look at this. I'm like, yeah, well, I have $1 trillion in my account because the Lord wants me to have $1 trillion in my spiritual account. That's the way I feel about it. How do you feel about this whole spiritual situation that's going down? Are we in the revelations? Ooh. Let me know in the comment section down below. I love you. I adore you. And I always want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful eternity.